We're going to be a little bit early. Good morning. Well, it is 7:58, not 8 o'clock. Good morning. I was just talking to Timmy how we're going to be early with y'all this morning because I want to do all the adjusting and all that before everybody gets here. And I'm going to have this light shining right at my face. So, yay. Welcome. Sorry if you were hearing last. You saw that. You're probably hearing all the computers like going. Anyhow, I hope you can hear us. If you can hear us, say something because I've messed with my computer a bunch and I don't know if all the stuff still works. But anyways, welcome to our coffee conversation. I'm Amber.
And I'm Tim.
And we are 2 of the 5 members of the Bradshaw family that moved from the city in South Carolina, Pawleys Island by the beach, and our little HOA cul-de-sac to 47 acres in the mountains off-grid here in East Tennessee. And we have coffee with y'all every once in a while.
See, we're having it right now.
My coffee's hot. We love our morning coffee. And we started this, I don't even know what this is, a blog video thingy, 5 years ago to the month when we moved here because I was lonely and I missed my family. And this was the only way, and my friends. And this was the only way that we could communicate. So we just started having coffee with y'all. And it stuck. I kind of like it.
Yeah, it all started at the cabin underneath the little staircase. Little tiny, dark cabin.
It was cute. It was perfect. The 5 of us lived there.
It was small.
It was really small. Matter of fact, my mom is living there now, which is perfect for one person. And the area that she uses as her bedroom, and then there's a bathroom onto it, that was completely closed off when we lived there. So we didn't even have that square footage. So it was 5 of us and just,
Yeah.
It's a way to know if you love your family or not.
That's where all the snakes were.
Speaking of, I was looking for photos the other day and for my job, and I had to scroll back through all of our photos since we moved here, and I saw the ones of this in the house and all of the mold and the disgusting stuff and all the work that we did and how we even had to cut a path to the house when we first moved in. So it was interesting. Yeah. We were busy those first couple of months. Well, I mean, we've been busy ever since, but we've been busy. So anyhow, we're trying to do this live coffee chat every Sunday at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we have been gone for about 5 or 6 Sundays. And the reason for that is because it is all my fault. But also the reason why we're having coffee this morning with y'all is me, all my fault. I woke him up. I woke you up this morning.
You did?
Yeah. I turned the fan off and I kissed you. So it's time to get your butt up. But I had knee replacement surgery, and it's been a long ride. And so I didn't feel like going and having coffee with anybody. It's been hard. It's been really tough. But here I am. I actually had a decent night last night.
That's good.
I didn't wake up in pain.
Yeah.
I didn't wake up wanting to cry.
You need your rest. She's lost a lot of it.
Yeah. I had 19 days of no sleep.
The discomfort and pain.
It's horrible. If anybody's ever gone through knee replacement surgery, kudos, power to you. You're a stronger person than I am. If everybody's ever had more than one, I don't think I'd ever do it again. I'd have to be in a lot more pain than I was the last year and a half to ever go through this again. So
maybe your new knee will help your bad knee get through it.
I hope so. Because I was walking down the step the other day, my other knee tweaked. I'm like, no. You're not. I'm talking to him like, you're not allowed to give out. That's just all there is to it. And I was a little on the young scale for getting a knee replacement, so they all say. My body didn't feel that way. But that's from years of abuse, I reckon. So years and years on my feet, waiting tables, bartending, gaining weight, you think of an avocado on 2 little toothpicks? That's my poor knee.
That when she was a running back for the Buckeyes? I'm just kidding.
What
She
are the
didn't play.
Buckeyes? Is that a football team?
Yeah. Ohio. Buckeyes.
How would I know that?
Johnny Utah.
It's a made up team?
No.
See, he's only quoting movie quotes. You don't even know if it's real or not. Are you serious? Anyhow. So that's where we've been for the past. My surgery was April 13th, and we didn't do a live before that Sunday. I can't remember. There was a really good reason why I didn't, though, but I know I was prepping for surgery and everything else. Hang on. Something happened the Monday before. Oh, it was Easter. It was Easter. It was Easter Sunday, and I had to cook and everything else, and everybody was coming over. Good morning. Thanks for joining our coffee conversation. So Easter, we didn't do a live. I hope you had a blessed Easter. We had a great time. We went because we went camping.
Went to Panther Creek
State Park in Morristown and had a blast. I wish we would have had more time there.
Nice place.
It was beautiful, and it was a perfect day. It wasn't too hot, it wasn't too cold, and it was wonderful. And the kids were there, and we played football. Well, they did. I watched. Obviously, I don't know anything about football. And Kathy, happy Mother's Day, honey. And to my mom, she's actually down in the cabin. She pulled her back out yesterday, so I don't know if we'll even see her today. I hope so. That's another story. So we went camping, and we brought a cookout there, and so everybody brought something. We set up a gazebo tent, and we had a good old time. And that's a tip for y'all. If nobody wants a big old crowd and invest at their home, or you don't have enough places to sit people, go rent a campsite somewhere. You don't have to stay the night, but you have that whole area. So there's normally a playground. You're out in nature. Sometimes they have picnic shelters you can use.
Yeah.
You know.
Water, electricity, showers.
And it's not on your bill. Oh, yeah, we took a hot shower. There was a hot shower. There was a shower area right next to our campsite. We all brought our stuff to take a hot shower. We're like, this is sweet. Hot running water on command. Yeah, it was nice. But that's why we didn't get together the Sunday before my surgery. And then surgery was the 13th, so it was that Thursday. And we stayed the night in the hospital.
Yeah.
And then I was in bed for a really long time after that. Well, I mean, they start you walking right afterwards. But again, I wasn't very nice to talk to for about 19 days.
Yeah, it took a little while to get her pain meds adjusted because what they gave her didn't really work.
Yeah, I'm allergic to everything good that helps you, like penicillin, amoxicillin, sulfa, erythromycin, codeine, all of those good things I'm allergic to. And so they gave me a pain med that I was allergic to in the hospital, and I started having a reaction. And I was itching from head to toe, and I'm like, I'm allergic to the detergent. I've changed my clothes in the hospital, brought my own stuff. I was hot, and I'm just scratching from head to toe, and I'm still taking this medicine, not even putting the two and two together. And finally, he brought me home the next day. I came home, and I was like listless. I couldn't move. I couldn't lift my arms. I couldn't open my eyes. It was crazy. What did you think about that?
Well, I mean, it was rough because she hadn't eaten.
Oh, I couldn't eat. They gave me all crap.
Medication. She was nauseated, and the car drive home was.
I threw up.
It was bad
in the parking lot at the pharmacy.
Yeah.
I get car sick when other people drive. And no one believes me. That it's
getting her in the house for that first time, just walking, and it was pretty rough.
So yeah, pain management was really hard, and pain management is very important when you have a surgery of that stature. And then, so I was just taking over-the-counter Tylenol, and that wasn't cutting it. And finally, a week and a day after, 2 weeks after my surgery, I had my follow-up with my doctor. It was 2 weeks. And he goes, oh, that's all you've been taking here? Let me give you something. I'm like, so I could finally, that was the first night I had sleep. But it didn't, the pain management didn't happen until 19 days later. So, but anyway, I'm good now. I mean, I'm not walking around like I should, but I'm better.
Yeah, he made a comment that's like, you're a better man than I am. But
no, I said, no, I'm not. I'm not handling this good at all. He goes, wow, you're strong. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm crying all the time. I'm ugly. I'm complaining to Timmy. But he's been a great help. And I will say this. I thought that our lifestyle would be very hard for me to recover, and I think it would have been had I had it done any other time of the year. Had it been winter or the heat of the summer, it would have been a lot more difficult. Don't you think?
Yeah. Um, and
Well, the winter, you would have been so busy chopping wood and everything else you were doing all winter, keeping all the fires going, you wouldn't have been able to be at my beck and call, which I
yeah,
needed.
yeah.
Like I
So
couldn't lift my foot, can't lift my leg, couldn't put my own britches on.
yeah, so we were at a season lull, I would say.
It was perfect timing to be that miserable.
Yeah,
So, anyways,
yeah.
but now I'm anxious to get outside and plant the garden and everything else. We've had a lot going on this past month outside of me trying to heal. Yeah, last Sunday was my birthday, and we started out that morning by selling all of our goats. That's never a comment I'd ever thought I'd make
So
again.
we're goatless.
We're goatless. And it's very, I was going to say it's very quiet. Our roosters make sure that we don't get too silent around here, but it's very quiet. I miss hearing the goats, doing their little thing.
Yeah, so I guess about 5 o'clock now, when our roosters crow, our dogs start crowing with the roosters. Our dogs are crowing now. It's they're trying to
Mimic.
mimic the sound, and it's funny. I mean, they're waking me up, and I'm like, "Arr," but I mean, it's funny when you hear them trying to.
I didn't hear them last night, but the night before definitely
It's,
heard them.
yeah,
And
they did it this morning too.
it's
So
comical. But
yeah,
no, so this has been something that's been on my heart for a long time, and I've been preaching about this forever, and it was finally time that I took my own advice. When you have a farm or homestead or whatever, and you have livestock, that livestock is to better your homestead. It is either to do land management or to make you money or to make you food. That's it. They're not pets. And people have a really hard time separating the two. And there are some people like that lady at the dump that raises cows as pets.
yeah.
A lot of cows for pets. Kind of
Hmm.
crazy if you ask me. But that's, hey, to each their own. She's got the money, she can do it. Power to her. Um, I was just evaluating our homestead because we're just pouring out money and pouring out money with very little in return. And this is what we do for a living. And I said, there were Nigerian dwarf goats, first of all. We got into that breed back in South Carolina because we needed something really small to thrive on our little piece of land. And we continued that breed even though we moved here because I was used to it. They were easy to handle. And back in South Carolina, they command a lot more money than some of the other dairy breeds of goats. And they're like a medium sized dog. Even like, I mean, look at Skipper and Crybaby. They were even smaller than Knox. And Henny was small. Um, and we had a registered herd ish. We could have registered all of them, but I didn't want to get into that because goat registry is just a pain in the butt to deal with. Anyhow, and so we were getting into more for resale financially, and that they did land management here than we were for meat. We never did them for meat or dairy. And dairy with that breed was very minimal. In full milk, right after freshening, maybe a quart a day that you would get from the Nigerian dwarf goat. So, anyways, the goats weren't doing that for us. They weren't making us money. They weren't filling our fridge, and they weren't making us money. And we weren't using them completely for land management. We weren't rotating our herd. So, at that point in time, it was hurting our homestead. And as hard as the decision was, I made the decision to sell all the goats. And I found a wonderful family. Was it Rachel and what was his name?
Jesse.
Jesse. And their two children. And they came and they wanted to buy all of the goats because they had a couple Nigerian dwarfs and they wanted to expand their herd. And so none of them had to be separated. They all got to stay together. But it was a hard decision. And It's not easy when you have to make that decision, just like having to put down an animal because you can't get to a vet and it's dying. It's never an easy decision to make. But if it's not benefiting your homestead, you have to make that decision. And so we're still trying to sell our pigs. If you guys know of anybody that is needing some hogs, we're still trying to sell our pigs for basically the same reason. Now we have filled our freezer before with our pigs, but we aren't, and well, our freezer's still full with pork meat. But this, we just got to the point that it's not, it's not enjoyable for us, and it's not that we don't like the responsibility or anything else. It's just it's not benefiting our homestead or our family, so therefore it's hurting us financially. And they're a lot harder to sell than you would think. I mean, I've had them for sale since last fall.
Yeah, you ought to try to move one.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, so these people that bought all of our goats bought two of our hogs. They bought our two goats. And it took you guys several hours
Well,
to do that.
yeah, I will say it was a fun, interesting day to get the pigs in the
Do
trailer.
you think Gavin would have that same response? It was fun.
No,
Interesting.
I don't think Gavin had the as much patience as I did, and I just sat on the back of the trailer with a bag of marshmallows, and I just
Waited.
yeah, and
Like Hansel and Gretel waiting to
you
go to
have
the
to
hut.
you have to earn their trust to get them to pass that line where that electric fence is. They are very smart animals, and it takes a while to for them to earn your trust to realize that that fence isn't there. So it happens.
And not only that, but when you're deciding what livestock to raise or even what vegetable or fruit to grow, do a pantry inventory. Do you eat goat? No. The answer is no. Do you want to eat goat? The answer is no. Then don't raise meat goats.
I ate some goat one time. She snuck it in on me, and I said, "Is this goat?" She was like, "No,
It tasted good.
but it was goat."
Same thing. We like said, fruits or vegetables garden. If you don't eat eggplant, don't grow eggplant unless you have a demand for eggplant in your community and you plan on either giving it away or selling it. Don't grow it. Same thing with livestock. If you don't drink goat milk, if you don't eat goat meat, if then don't raise that animal. So this is where we're at right now. Timmy, I know my doctor said it would probably be a year of healing before I'm back to 100%. And that's a long time in homestead terms. It's a short time in reality, but I do know everything's on Timmy's shoulders. Everything. Hole in the water, getting the firewood, taking care of all the livestock, building all of the things that he's building, and then taking care of me and picking up my slack. It's unfair for me to continue to expect him to do all the livestock when that's my thing. And so I was like, okay, how can I make his burden load lighter? And that's when, I was sitting here doing the valuations, like what's not working. Not only that, but the money that we're spending. I mean, it's just pouring out and feed and hay and care for them. And yes, I know that's normal. I know that's typical, but there should be some balance, and there's not. It's like this. So right now, we're making the decision to sell what we're not that's not benefiting our homestead, and that is the goats, which are gone, the hogs, which are many are still here, and that will be the quail that we have as well. And the reason for the quail is because I'm not breeding them and butchering them like the intended purpose. Even though they're not taking up much space, they're not eating that much food, they're as cute as all can be, but I want to see them on a homestead that they're going to serve their intended purpose. So what are we still keeping? Well, we're still keeping our ducks. We're still keeping this Walter or turkey. We're still keeping the chickens. We're still keeping the rabbits. Rabbits are easy to raise and butcher. And then God intended us to still be beekeepers. We lost our hive after winter, and as a wild swarm decided that they wanted to be in our hive. So we're still beekeepers. And that's what we're doing right now. That's very manageable, that's affordable, so to speak. And all of those animals are benefiting our homestead. They're filling our fridge, and they're doing decent bug control. And we have a lot of bugs here.
Yeah.
However, I will say this: after I want 1 year after we get rid of the pigs and the quail to work on our infrastructure because Timmy, you mentioned even to my physical therapist the other day how we put the cart before the horse on all the livestock.
Oh, definitely.
You can talk about that for a second.
We did it backwards, and I think it's the
What do you mean when we did it backwards? Tell them what you meant by that.
buying a lot livestock as soon as we moved here.
Without even having our home built.
Yeah, I mean, we had to basically we had a temporary fence that we put up just for for the goats, and that was a rush, to get that up so we could put the goats in it, and then we had to hurry up and build the permanent structure for them and the fencing and everything, and it just seemed like it shouldn't be like this. You should have these things prepared and done.
There's a lot of reasons
being
behind
able
that,
to move that livestock in and then not be stressed and not being able to have something for us to live in that was,
probably not the smartest decision we ever made.
All of our needs. So it's called putting the cart before the horse, and that's what we did.
However, okay, so here's where we're at now. We talked about why we got rid of our livestock, not all of it, and the whys behind it. And if you're in that situation, we employ you to evaluate your situation too. If your livestock is costing you peace of mind, if it's robbing your joy, if it's a financial burden or drain, then definitely visit the conversation. Is this best thing for you? However, when talking about this, it wasn't like, oh, we're getting rid of them and we're done forever. That wasn't the conversation at all. It's like, this is the best decision for us right now. And we've already started talking and started looking at what we're going to get when the time comes in place of that. And what is that going to be?
A dairy cow.
Plural.
Cows.
Plural. and beef.
And a beef. And
a male to butcher. So
a male and a female.
What we did when we did do like that homestead analysis of what's working and what isn't, we're like, well, we eat a lot of red meat. Matter of fact, we just processed a cow with a farmer friend of ours, and we processed it. We harvested it at his farm, and then we brought it here and hung it in our cooler, and then we processed it here. And that was the first time that either of us have been involved in the entire process with a cow.
I think we got the right side too.
Not the left side.
Yeah, we definitely got the right side.
So anyhow, they drink a lot of milk, and we consume a lot of cheese, and we consume a lot of red meat. And so it makes sense for us in the future to not go with goat dairy, but to go with cow dairy. And thankfully, in our groups, Old Paths to New Homesteading and our Mighty Network group, we have a lot of experience with everybody to offer us education. Because so that's what we're going to do. Our intention for the whole year is to work on our infrastructure, finish some big projects that Timmy has going on, like our porch that he's doing right now in the shop, and our fencing, and then look into the dairy breeds and see if I can, well, I'll be doing this during the year. And then hopefully a year from now, we will have our dairy cow and then raising one for beef. Okay, Kathy said something. It's a learning experience. I'd get a steer and not a dairy cow after watching Dr. Pohl. I've never had a dairy cow. Who's Dr. Pohl? And yet, Kathy, I mean, we're definitely raising one for beef, but dairy is where we're wanting to go with that. So, Scott Scott was, I don't know how many generations of farmers, but he was a dairy farmer for years and years up in North Carolina. I mean, New York. And he is one of our admins in our group. And they got out of it because they had government contracts. And good morning. How are you? Um, and so the other family runs a nursery, but he is still by far my cow guru. And then our friend Liberal Linda, her whole family, now that she is fourth generation cattle farmer, and they raise nothing but, meat and steers. And then our friend Sherry, she has a Jersey down in Florida and she's raising one for beef and she's got a couple girls and she's been giving me advice as well. He's the famous fat Michigan and all the issues when calves are born. It's heartbreaking. Oh goodness. Well, Kathy, definitely have to look into that because Steve and our Mighty Network group and a couple others are up in Michigan too, and I want to see what they have to say. But so that's where we're going. That's the direction that we're going to be going with that. And then we're going to get into meat chickens, which is something that we've never done before. We process chickens and turkeys, but we've never raised specifically meat chickens before. Yeah. And that's pretty much the homestead, animal update.
I love chicken.
We do love chicken. And that's what I'm saying. If you're, you want a homestead or if you do and you're wanting more livestock, do a pantry inventory. What do you eat a lot of? What does your family eat a lot of? Y'all eat a lot of potatoes? Start planting potatoes. You eat a lot of peppers? Start planting peppers. Same thing with your meat. Look at what you cook mostly. What is so funny?
Nothing. I'm going off here.
Go ahead.
No, we're talking about raising cows and raising chickens and
you raising cane?
No, I ain't raising cane.
What?
We're gonna raise some beans and taters.
Is that part of Sling Blade or something?
No. I've never watched that.
So what's the beans and taters from?
Huh?
What's the beans and taters from?
It's country folk talk. You raise beans and taters too? Or you raise...
We raise beans and taters. Anyhow, speaking of last year for Mother's Day, my present from Gavin was bring me flats of plants from his job. He worked at the Farmers Co-op last year. And so we put the garden in right at Mother's Day, my birthday, because they're always right there together. And I got flats of like one thing. I got a flat peppers. I got a flat of pumpkins and a flat of tomatoes, all the same kind. But let me say, we put that in like 3 weeks later. I had my knee surgery. I never went out in the garden then for a couple months because it was really hard to walk. Finally went out there, never watered it, never weeded it. Most prolific garden I've ever had. We had peppers and pumpkins and tomatoes.
Yeah, by the way, she's had 2 knee surgeries.
Oh, yeah.
She had a knee surgery and her knee replacement. So
yeah, it's both the same time. Kind
of. Yeah, the garden, when you opened the gate to it, you couldn't even walk in there. You had to really pay attention to where you were walking because we had tomatoes, squash, pumpkins, watermelons, okra. It was amazing at all the food that was in there.
Kathy was saying about the calves being too big. So that will happen when you're breeding improperly. Because she was saying how, to mention it earlier about getting the jerseys and everything. That happens with goats too. For instance, we had Nigerian dwarf goats, and a lot of people like the smaller goat. They like to do crossbreeds so they can do higher milk production. You would never take a larger male goat and breed it to a smaller female goat because she will have problems kidding. And that's the same concept that goes for cows. But people cross do them anyways. They cross the breeds for different qualities. A smaller goat with bigger milk production or better meat marbling or whatever. And that's just not good. That is not good animal husbandry. And so matter of fact, we had some friends that wanted us to keep their Nubian male here, buck. And I said no, because if that impregnates our small does, then they will have a hard time delivering and could die. I said, now if you have a female Nubian, I'll take that all day long because my little boy would love to get to her and we'd have some good milk. But yeah, no. So you never want to do that the other way around. And they would have. You want to always take the smaller male and breed it with a larger female. I had to throw that in there. That was funny.
I'm busting in the inside here.
That was funny.
Please stop.
Okay. So what were you saying about our garden?
And nothing. I'm good.
So
the garden was good.
The garden was good, and we had more pumpkins, more peppers, more tomatoes than we knew what to do with.
Our garden's doing good right now too.
It is.
Got a lot
we
going
planted
on.
some in it. My mom did about a month or so, well, 2 months ago, and it's doing well. And this is the thing, and I don't know how to duplicate our success to share with you so you can duplicate it. We don't water our garden. We never have. Here, South Carolina, I can't. Well, now I'll say this: in South Carolina, we changed all of our gray water to our drip irrigation. So our sinks and our tub, all of the stuff that didn't have food particles and such in it, and we were very eco-conscious with what we put down the drain, was set up to go to a drip irrigation system that went to all of our plants in our garden. So we very rarely had to water there as well. But we're very water conservative. And so here up on our mountaintop, we don't have the luxury to have a sprinkler to turn on or a garden hose. We do rainwater collection only. And if it's not raining, there's no water. And we never once watered our garden. And the reason I think that we have success doing it that way is, one, we have good soil.
Yeah.
And two, we put down a compost layer or mulch layer on top. Last year we did hay. I'll never do that again. And the reason being is
you want to grow hay.
It's full of seeds. It's full of seeds. That first year is great. Now I got a hay field out there where my garden needs to go. Now we mulch it to trap in the moisture. We kind of plant close together, not intentionally, just because we had a lot of stuff. And so there wasn't a lot of room for sun to dry out the soil. And two, it rains a lot here.
Yeah.
So we're blessed with that. I can't complain about that.
I have noticed that the soil here, it's very compact.
Oh, well, we have clay soil.
It holds a lot of water.
Which we have sand in South Carolina, so it's completely opposite.
So if you have that down first and you kind of build off of that and put the lighter soil on top of that, that bottom soil, it will hold that moisture. So when you do have a little bit of a drought, your plants are still going to thrive.
So that's, like I said, I wanted to even write an article. It's how to grow a garden you don't have to water. But I don't really think that we have a lot to do with it. There's no tips that we did other than the mulching and, kind of planting close together so the soil doesn't dry it out. But yeah, never once have we ever watered our gardens here. And now that did bite us in the butt one summer. I remember my mom was here when you planted the garden right in front of our house.
Yeah.
So we didn't bring in soil. We just had the clay here. And my mother and I spent, I don't want to admit how much money we spent on plant starts, but we went crazy between the two of us. It was several $100s. And I don't even think we grew $50 worth of produce that year because we had a 3-month drought and no water in the rain bales, no water at all. And the soil wasn't good and we didn't mulch it. And it was horrible. It was horrible. But that was that was unusual circumstances and we didn't put it in the right place. And it was just, a lot of it was our error. And, but this year, everything seems to be right on track. Knock on wood. It seems to be thriving already. And now you wait till Mother's Day to plant here because for people that planted early, they've already lost their starts and everything because we had a unusual freak frost.
Yeah.
And Mother's Day is the ticket anytime after Mother's Day. So we're getting ready to put in a lot. And that's important too, because we went to Walmart the other day. What was it, $185?
Yeah.
It was $185. And we literally had nothing in our cart. And it wasn't like we had any extravagancies. We had coffee. I mean, we have to have coffee. We had coconut sugar, which has tripled in price in the last 2 years. Our coffee has doubled in price, and then we had a thing of toilet paper, and that was kind of like the bulk things. That was it. And then we had fruit, we had some vegetables, no junk food. We had some dairy in it.
It added up.
185 bucks. And we're both looking at each other like, we're growing more food this year. This is ridiculous. We can't do this. It's just, we can't. We literally can't financially afford to go to Walmart anymore. We've had a long spring and already harvesting green beans, squash, and tomatoes. Awesome, Tammy.
Yay.
I mean, Kathy, because a lot of times you guys, South Carolina, skip spring altogether. It goes right from winter to summer, and then it's too hot. We had our broccoli bolted already to seed. I saw it yesterday. I finally was able to walk out there, hobble out there, but because it's gotten hot quick. It went from cold to, 85, 90 something degrees. We have weather much like y'all do. And but we have a really long growing season too here.
Yeah, I wish we had that ocean breeze.
I do too. We've got the heat and humidity, but none of the breeze. All right, y'all. Well, we're gonna get going because it is Mother's Day, and we've got Happy Mother's Day, everybody. We're going to build a fire pit today and sit out and roast marshmallows and smoke some turkey burgers because that's what I want to do.
Some broth.
And brats. That's what he wants to do. And are you going to work on the deck?
I don't know.
I'll share the deck with you. I did share some pictures in my Homestead Life and then Mighty Networks in the group, just the beginning pictures. We'll say that real quick and then we'll let y'all go because I know we've been chatting a while, but we haven't chatted in a long time.
I got to bake a cake.
I'm not eating it. No one bakes a cake for my birthday, but I'm not eating sugar right now.
I'll eat it for.
But it's my mother's birthday in 2 days, and it's Mother's Day today. So I said, just bake a cake for everybody to enjoy. And you're cooking it on the smoker. See, because y'all, look, hang on. See, move like this. All we have is our wood cook stove right there. And when it's 90 and 80 degrees, it's way too hot to use that inside. So he's going to bake a cake on the grill or the smoker outside. And you can do it.
I need one outside.
Oh, a wood cook stove?
Wood cook stove outside.
You're going to build me a cob oven.
If it was portable, I'd just take it outside and use it.
Not portable.
Yeah.
But anyhow,
500 pounds.
Timmy's been wanting for years since he built his house a front porch. I can't tell you how many times we're sitting here drinking coffee, and he goes, I wish we had a front porch to sit out and drink coffee. Boy, if we had a front porch right now, we'd be sitting out there looking at the stars. Oh, we had a front porch. I mean, blah, blah, blah. Front porch. That's all he talks about.
Get it. She finally got it.
What?
All those years of saying, I wish we had a front porch.
Well, no, I kind of wanted insulation in my house first, or, a place to sleep. That was kind of important, talking about the cart before the horse. But anyhow.
We ran over the horse with the cart.
No, we went backwards. The cart before the horse was
We ran over him going downhill.
So I finally said, okay, go ahead and build your front porch. And it is going to be a wraparound porch. What's the dimension?
You keep coming up with these new words.
I know, but it works.
Semi-wraparound.
What is the dimensions of the porch? What are my English is horrible, y'all.
In the end, it's going to be 56 feet covered area.
Oh, okay. I'm like, what's she talking about, Joker? But the deck is 40 foot by 10 foot.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be an extended part
carport
that's 16 foot beyond that for a carport. But it will wrap around eventually. And he's milling the lumber for it. We are buying some treated parts, like the decking boards, because we learned. We did this deck over here behind me where that window is. We milled that, and we never sealed it. So guess what?
Time to replace it.
Time to replace it already. 4 years later. 4 years lifespan. So we don't want to replace this in 4 years. So he's doing the framing and everything. He's milling that. We're sealing it with
boiled
linseed oil. Do your research on that if you ever have any type of raw wood that you want to last. But our research told us we wanted to use boiled linseed oil to treat it. And then he's going to be doing the regular decking boards that we bought on sale well, it's no longer on sale at Lowe's. And which is expensive still, but it definitely saved us a lot of money having a mill most of it. So we're really looking forward to that, and we'll share that with you. But yeah, that's probably the most affordable way we could do this deck. And then we have recycled old barn tin that we're using for the roofing, and he'll be milling all of that lumber, right?
Yeah.
And again,
All that
bold
one.
linseed oil.
Everything that's going to be touching the ground and the deck and everything is going to be treated, and everything above that, the joists and rafters and everything.
Everything that's going to be covered will be milled and then treated with the linseed oil, which itself is expensive, but it's worth it because you don't want to replace your boards in 4 years. So that's your big project that you're doing right now.
My big project.
And I'm hoping that he can get the deck done so he can sit on it tonight for Mother's Day.
Hurry.
Just part of it. Just a 10-foot section, y'all, not the whole 40-foot. But anyhow, you guys have a blessed day. Thanks for joining us for coffee. And we're always available in any of our groups, Mighty Network, My Homestead Life, Old Past to New Homesteading, and Facebook. And then we're on MeWe and Old Past as well. If you want any of those links, just let me know. I'd be happy to share them with you. And if you're not already following our YouTube page, please make sure that you do it so YouTube will notify you when we go live. And I'm hoping it will start to be every Sunday again. And I'm sorry we've been gone for a while, but I needed time to heal. All right, y'all. Have a blessed day.
Thanks for putting up with us.